Hello my dear students, today I am again here with you with another part of the video of my chapter number 3, that is in human reproduction. Today we'll be dealing in detail about the male reproductive system. So before going through the male reproductive systems, I have earlier told you in my previous video what are the difference between primary and secondary sex organs, and there I have written some of the differences here. And these differences are that I have already told you that those sex organs that are responsible for production of gametes tend to be the primary sex organs, and those that are not at all involved in the production of gametes but helps in the conduction of those produced gametes are said to be the secondary sex organs. They are responsible for secreting the sex hormones like testosterone and progesterones, like testosterones in from the testes and the progesterones from the ovaries, and they are not at all responsible for producing any kind of the sex hormones. Testes and ovaries are the primary sex organs, and here the epididymis, vasa deferens, penis in male are the secondary sex organs, and oviduct, uterus and fallopian tubes in females are the secondary sex organs of female. So this is a difference between primary and secondary sex organs. It will make you more clear about the differences. So I have bring this slide before you. So let's start with the very first part of the human male reproductive system, that is we'll talking about the very first part, scrotum. And this scrotum is said to be the deeply pigmented skin which is divided into two separate sacs, and each of those sacs will contain one testis in each. And it is considered that the normal temperature of the testis in the scrotum is about 2 to 2.5 degree lesser than the normal body temperature, and these body temperature is responsible for the development of the sperms. These these are connected, these scrotal cavities, two sacs are connected to the abdomen or pelvic cavity by the inguinal canal, and the scrotum is lined by a kind of a muscle which is known as dartus muscles and spermatic fascia. This dartus muscle plays an important role in the regulation of the temperature, and the two of the scrotal sacs are connected to each other, which is known as a scrotal wall, through a flexible elastic fiber which is known as gubernaculum or mesocrine. Okay, so these some important things to be remembered in this scrotum, if you can remember. And next is the testis, which is considered to be the primary sex organs in the man, and I have told you what are the primary sex organs, those that produce the gametes. So the testis is the primary sex organ in the male reproductive system, and these testes are developed in the abdominal cavity during the 7th month of the developmental period of the fetus, male fetus, and they descend into the scrotum through the inguinal canal when they are expelled out from the mother's body during the 9th month. Testis is oval in shape, and its length is near about 4 to 5 centimeters with a width of about 2 to 3 centimeters. Internal structure, if I come to tell you about testis, it comprises of the three coats, and the outermost is said to be the tunica vaginalis, the middle coat of its tunica albuginea, and the innermost is said to be the last layer, the tunica vesiculosa. Each of those testes have near about 250 compartments, and those 250 compartments contains several testicular lobules, and those testicular lobules are said to be the seminiferous vesicles, and those seminiferous tubules, and those seminiferous tubules will produce the sperms inside those tubules. Now this is a complete structure of a human reproductive system, male reproductive systems, showing you the different primary and secondary sex organs along with the accessory sex organs. You can see here each and every part of the reproductive system, male reproductive system, is shown to you from the primary sex organs to the accessory sex organs. Okay, so this is a structure I have taken from the NCERT. So go through your NCERT, you will come to see more clear picture of this reproductive part. This is a very much important diagram. It may come in board exam, so prepare this diagram. Now if we see this the section of testis, so you will find that if you cut a transfer section of the testis is being taken, and generally the diagram of the testis comes in the board exam, TS of testis. Okay, so there you will find there are several blood vessels and veins, ductus deferens, tunica vaginalis, each and every layers will be visible to you, and seminiferous tubules are present in each and every locules are also visible to you. See here, see here, this is a seminiferous tubules. These are present in several compartments. These have several compartments, and each compartments in them comprises of seminiferous tubules, and this is a rete testis, and this is the middlemost layer, tunica albuginea, and tunica vesiculosa is the innermost layer, and here is the epididymis. So this is a transverse section of the testis. Go through this figure from your NCRT, and moving towards another part of the male reproductive system, that is epididymis. And let me tell you, this epididymis is a long coiled tube like structure. You can see here, um, this is epididymis, ductus epididymis, this epididymis, this tube like structure, this spiral tube like structure, more coiled structure. These structures are responsible for storing all those sperms which are produced by the, here you can see how the gametes are produced from the seminiferous tubules, and they are going inside these epididymis structure, and these epididymis will store them until and unless they get matured or are to be transferred to the vasa deferens or ductus deferens. Okay, before moving towards ductus deferens, they have to be stored somewhere, so they are stored inside the structure known as epididymis. It is actually a long tube of near about 5 to 6 centimeters long, and it is responsible for storage and maturation of the sperms. If I come to tell you about histological, which is not so important for you, so don't go through this point, so don't worry about this point. You just remember these 3 points are very important from the epididymis. Now vasa deferens, if I talk about vasa deferens, okay, so the sperms which are produced from seminiferous tubules are transferred to the or stored inside the what, epididymis, and now will be carried by the vasa deferens. Okay, so these are the long muscular tube which is near about 45 centimeters long, and carries the sperms from epididymis to the pelvic cavity. I have told you these things. Now it passes through the inguinal canal, it crosses the ureter, its terminal part you can see here, the terminal part of it's become what, somewhat dilated, and this dilated part is said to be the ampulla of the vasa deferens. Okay, this is the right vasa deferens, and this is the left side of the vasa deferens. This is the ureter, you can see here. So the vasa deferens has to cross the ureter, and leading towards that it becomes somewhat dilated, and that dilated part is said to be the ampulla. See this ampulla, and these are the right seminal vesicles, these are the left seminal vesicles, which will provide what, nourishment to all those sperms which are passing on through the vasa deferens. Okay, I'll tell you about vasa deferens role also, role of these seminal vesicle also, and later on they'll come to join the common end, they'll come to join to form a ejaculatory duct, and that ejaculatory duct will open in the prostatic urethra. Okay, see here, this is the posterior surface where the ejaculatory duct will open up. Now seminiferous tubules, these sperms are produced inside the testis, but those testes contain several testicular lobules. There are near about 250 compartments, and all those compartments comprises of what, seminiferous tubules, and those seminiferous tubules the sperms are produced. Got it? And these seminiferous tubules, if I talk about seminiferous tubules, those seminiferous tubules has a two kind of the cell lining. One, two types of the tubule is lined up by the two kind of the cells. One of those cells is the male germ cells. This is here you can see this, if I have taken a section of the seminiferous tubules. Okay, so this in this section of seminiferous tubules I'll found the two types of the cells. Very first is the spermatogonium or spermatogonia, said to be the male germ cells, this mentioned here, and second is the Sertoli cells, this is here. Okay, now let's see the role of these male germ cells. These male germ cells will form the gametes. Okay, the spermatogonial cells will mature, and out of some they will move towards the stem cell formation, and one of those will lead to the formation of the sperms. Okay, so spermatogonial cells will in turn lead to the formation of the gamete, means the overall formation of the sperm will take place from this male germ cell, and Sertoli cells will only do one thing, to provide nourishment to these developing sperms. These will provide what? These will provide only nourishment. Okay, so this will provide only nourishment to the developing sperms, and there is also a region between these two types of cells, that is interstitial space between Sertoli cells and spermatogonial cells, and this is a interstitial cell termed as Leydig cells. So these Leydig cells can synthesize as well as secrete some testicular hormones, testosterone or androgens. Okay, So this is the role of the Leydig cells. So you must know about all those things, Sertoli cells, Leydig cells, what the role they play, and you will come to see the process of the sperm formation, and those process of sperm formation we will see during the spermatogenesis, means when we will be studying about gametogenesis. I have told all thing about this, so need not to worry about this. Now, this is a internal accessory organs of the male, in which we have already talked about epididymis, just ductus differentia, seminal vesicles we have to talk about, and prostate and bulbourethral glands. These three things we have to talk about right now. So towards these vesicles and prostate and bulbourethral are the accessory glands, as you know. So accessory glands are those glands, I have already told you, they have to provide some kind of nourishment to all those processes going on, all those processes which are going on, they need some kind of energy, and those energy and some kind of nourishments are also being provided by these accessory sex glands. So one of those is the seminal vesicles, as it is a highly tortuous tubes which lies just back of the urinary bladder, and it unites with the vasa deferens, okay, and after that it will come to form the ejaculatory duct, and that ejaculatory duct will have to open up in the prostatic part of the urethra. Its major function is to, during the passage of the sperms are passing on by the from the ejaculatory duct, they need some kind of energy, and those energy is given by some nutritive substances which are released by the seminal vesicles, and those substances are rich in protein, fructose and vitamin C. So this is a role played by the seminal vesicles in the male reproductive system. Now moving towards the prostate gland. It is a cone-shaped glandular organ surrounding the upper part of the urethra below the neck of the urinary bladder. It is just present below the neck of the urinary bladder, and seminal vesicle at the back of the urinary bladder. So remember the locations of these accessory glands, okay. Location is very much important and their function is important, okay. So these also open up by many ducts on the urethra and secretes an alkaline secretion. What this alkaline secretion help? These alkaline secretions secreted by the prostate glands helps to neutralize the acidity in the vagina, to maintain the to maintain a kind of an environment. They have to produce some alkaline secretion so that the acidity inside the vagina or acidity around the vagina can be neutralized. So this is done by the alkaline secretions done by the prostate gland. So this is the role of seminal, and this is the role of the prostate gland I have discussed with you. This is the seminal vesicle which is present at the back of the, this is what urethra, this is urethra, and at the back of urethra you will found this seminal vesicles, and this is a common ejaculatory duct, and during passing on by that, seminal vesicles provides them the nourishment. And here is the bulbourethral gland which is present just below the prostate gland. So let's talk about let me tell you one thing more. The ejaculatory duct, although secretes what? Ejaculatory ducts have to secrete that of what? The sperms, as well as that sperm will contain the seminal fluid. That seminal fluid will be the what? That seminal fluid makes up about 60% of the semen, means 40% there will be a sperm and the 60% will be the semen contained, okay. So this is also a most important thing from seminal vesicle. Now let's talk about bulbourethral glands. This is also called as the Cowper's gland, one of the important glands. This is this is one of the important glands, Cowper's gland. So this is very important. So always remember this gland. Now, bulbourethral glands are termed to be the two small glands located on the sides of the urethra. If I talk about the neck, below the neck there is prostate gland, and at the back of the urethra there is seminal vesicle, and just sides of the gland, the urethra, we will found the two bulb-like structures, and those two bulb-like structures are present below the prostate gland, and these are termed to be as bulbourethral glands. These glands has to produce some clear and slippery fluid. That slippery fluid will directly empties into the urethra. These clearly slippery fluid will empty up into the urethra. So these are some of the accessory sex glands and their roles and their location, which are very much important for from board point of view. So this is in this very part of the video. I guess this much is enough, and next video we'll be talking about the female reproductive systems. Till then, thank you.